Issues that arise from all over the world. And so it's so good to be with you this afternoon. My name is Onomo Iyarowe. I'm your host for the faculty this afternoon. And we'll be discussing a very topical issue, a topic that you must have heard about or you must have listened to other panelists discuss either on television or radio. It is peaceful coexistence in Nigeria, or if you like, the essence of peaceful coexistence in Nigeria. And then there are many questions to ask, and these questions will be well treated by our panelists. Questions like, over the years, have Nigerians actually coexisted positively, or Nigerians have been coexisting negatively? What are the parameters for judging peaceful coexistence in Nigeria, and what are the basis for peaceful coexistence? What make for peaceful coexistence in Nigeria or any part of the world at all? And these issues, these questions have been begging for answers will be trashed out this afternoon on the faculty as I'm being joined by three great men. Two major clerics, Islamic cleric, one an Islamic cleric, and the second a Christian religious cleric. And then of course, a great mind, a great professional when it comes to the pen profession. You want to meet them very quickly. Let me welcome Reverend Sam Akman Bison. He is a Christian cleric. I will get to that very quickly. Reverend Samuel Akman Bison is a great pastor, one who is doing the work of the gospel right here in Asaba. He has so much to his credit. He's a political analyst and educationist, and of course, one who has so much knowledge about happenings within and around us. Ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Samuel Akman Bison, a preacher, a poet, a philosopher, political scientist, educationist, and scholar of international relations and diplomatic studies at the master's level. All right? So good to have you join us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Good afternoon, sir. Seated very closely to him is somebody you all know within here and beyond Delta State, even beyond Nigeria. We call him Dr. Alhaji Adekola Yunusa. He is the Chief Imam of the Federal College of Education Technical Central Mosque, Asaba. He is a scholar and an educationist. If you like, call him a very strict disciplinarian. He's joining us this afternoon. So good to have you, sir.
Thank you so very much.
And then, of course, a pro in the pen profession, one who has seen the full walls of broadcasting of the journalism profession in Nigeria. If you ask me, he is one who has excelled beyond a reasonable doubt in the profession, a great journalist, and the number one journalist in Delta State. As he is the chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Delta State Council, Comrade Churchill Oyowe. It's so good to have you join us. Yes. Now, the topic before us, the essence of peaceful coexistence in Nigeria. The questions that have been asked severally, have Nigeria or have Nigerians actually coexisted peacefully and positively, or Nigerians have been coexisting negatively? I think to set the ball rolling, we can actually start it from there. But let me go straight to the chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, Delta State Council, Comrade Churchill. Let's set the ball rolling.
Okay, thank you. The challenge of peaceful coexistence is not new. It's not even a human problem. If you go back to the Bible days, you will see that as human beings, our preferences, likes and dislikes, have hindered the way we coexist. You'll be wondering why Rachel will love Jacob more than Esau, and Isaac will prefer Esau to Jacob. And at that material time, you will see that strife has started coming in, competition as human beings. So it now brought about one wanting to outwit the other, which will now create bitterness. So even before then and after then, we remain human beings. As long as we remain human beings, we will be striving to achieve peaceful coexistence by deliberately making sure that certain things are put in place. But I just want to stop there to tell you that as long as we remain human beings, peaceful coexistence will continue to be a challenge. And here in Nigeria, it is not different. As human beings, it is one thing that we continue to face. Even in the nuclear family, you have people struggling to coexist peacefully. If that is a challenge at the nuclear level, then it will not be a surprise when you go to the extended family level, you go to the intra-ethnic level, inter-ethnic level, inter-religious level. So as human beings, we will continue to exhibit our innate differences. And that is one of the reasons why we usually have problems coexisting peacefully. If you bring in other jobs like politics into it, you are even widening the reasons why we will be struggling to coexist peacefully. So it's a human factor. It's a human factor that makes for impediments in bringing about peaceful coexistence.
Okay, we'll go into the aspect of some of these proponents that give way for peaceful or non-peaceful coexistence, because you make mention of political leanings. We'll get to that point. Alhaji Adekola Yunusa, what will be your contribution to this?
Yeah, thanks for having us. Number one thing is that everybody should really see violence in a family, whether nuclear or extended, also in the society like ours, in Nigeria and even beyond, as a reproach. Violence is a reproach, and peace is a necessary ingredient, to having development, growth, peace, and even progress. Without that, you see that we'll be facing a lot of challenges. And if you cast your mind back to the olden days, you will find out that even the country went into a civil war. We went into a civil war. Thousands, if not millions of people lost their lives, and the development went down the drains. Famine, even most women were alive, no men to marry them, just because there was no peace. So having peace in a country like ours is very necessary. It's a great challenge for us not to be having it. And a lot of factors are responsible for that. You understand? Maybe when we get to that level.
Point, yes. All right, I have this to just read out to us. Peaceful coexistence in Nigeria has consistently been proven almost impossible amidst the various efforts to live together in harmony as a people. And this has been due to the activities of evil men who have consistently taken undue advantage of the endemic ethnic biases or religious bigotries in the society to perpetrate their evil agenda. Reverend Samuel, sir, would you want to give into this expression, or have some other things to talk about peaceful coexistence in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. Now, I like to say this, that when you have human beings, that society can be perfect. Anyway, you have people, there's bound to be rancor, there's bound to be animosity, hatred, division. In short, in a society like ours, a society like Nigeria, we have diverse ethnic groups. People also have diverse interests, and people are trying to do one thing or the other, to undo one another, get their interests, giving attention to. So it's almost impossible to have a peaceful coexistence where you have human beings and they have diverse interests, and normally people usually come with their agenda. People have their agenda to run, whether it is religious agenda, political agenda. So all of these will make it difficult to have peaceful coexistence.
Okay, thank you. You just put it very lightly, political agenda. For whatever reason, people have their different reasons for coexisting. Now, we want to take it one step at a time. Let's look at some of these factors that either promote or necessitate peaceful coexistence in Nigeria. Yes.
Okay. Now, you see, I would, to make the program balanced, I would differ a little bit. We cannot all.
So long as it goes well with us,
yeah.
Yes.
The thing is, I like to see our various diversities as something that should really give us peace. No matter your tribe, no matter your religion, no matter your affiliations, you must, put that thing into what will unite us. I believe it is possible. It is very much possible. The only thing you need as an ingredient is mutual respect. Respect my opinion, respect my religion, I will respect your tradition, you respect mine. Then if that mutual respect is there, we will coexist peacefully. But when you see me as a Yoruba man, and I'm looking at this person as an Igbo or, from Calabar, and I say, no, this person cannot be my leader, this person cannot be my head, then you are not using the God-given thing to unite you. And remember, God Almighty in the Quran says that I, as God, I have the ability to make all of you one. If He wanted it, God is capable of doing it. Because this is God who raised the firmament without a pillar. So His powers can never be in doubt. But the Quran tells me that God made us to be the way we are. Look at all our faces now. We are poor. Our faces are not the same. But we must love ourselves. We must like ourselves. We must respect ourselves. We must cherish our different diversity and backgrounds to ensure that we streamline whatsoever is the agenda of peace that we may be having to further the development of the country. So it is possible.
All right. I like this angle, taking it from ethnic diversity tribal diversity can actually coexist in the words of ABA Dr. Gusa. But we'll take a very short break, and when we return, we'll continue our discussion. Please stay with us on the faculty. Welcome back to the faculty on Delta Television, Asaba, the People's Pride. We're discussing the essence of peaceful coexistence in Nigeria. Have Nigerians actually coexisted peacefully? Are they coexisting negatively or positively? These are the questions we've been asking. And so far, so good. They've set the basis for peaceful coexistence amongst Nigerians, or if you like, in Nigeria. And one of the issues, one of the bases that they've looked at this afternoon is the ethnic diversity in Nigeria. If only we can harness and respect the rights of each other, we can actually coexist peacefully in Nigeria. So good to have you back. So let's go back to you, sir, Reverend Samuel Akbar Isang. What will be your take on peaceful coexistence when we look at ethnic diversity?
Well, actually, I like to say this. If you want to look at us from ethnic diversity, I would say that nothing came by accident. If I may take a cue from my co-discussant, Dr. Alaji here, who will talk about it religiously. Yes, there was a purpose why God created us from different backgrounds, and then we also found ourselves in different religious bodies and all that. Now, people from the north and those from the south, those from the east and those from the west, if we actually come together positively, then something positive can come together. But if we come together negatively, then something negative will also happen. So our coming together from different backgrounds, from different religious ground, as a matter of fact, is something that was orchestrated by God. I don't think Nigeria is an historical accident. I keep telling people Nigeria is not an historical accident. There was a purpose why God brought, people of different nationalities to bundle them together. I usually would not like to look at Lord Lugard or whoever gave the name the country Nigeria. But I think it is something that has existed on the mind of God that will be here together, and it's for a purpose. Now look at this. If you look at the major food supplies of the country, it's actually from the north. And then there are other basic things you find out that the country in a tide is enjoying that is coming from the south. So our religious background will not be an hindrance to our coexistence. Our ethnic background will not be a limitation or impediment to our coexistence. I think, like somebody has earlier said, we can enhance all of these and make it work positively for us.
All right. So you've taken us to another angle now, the religious angle. Let's come to you, Comrade Churchill Oyowe. What would be your contribution if we're looking at both the tribal sentiments and religious angle to peaceful coexistence?
I will add one or two to that, but let me just do a little explanation on ethnicity, religion,
Okay.
before I come about governance as an impediment to peaceful coexistence. You see, looking at it from the ethnicity angle, you find out that a lot of us have been indoctrinated right from childhood to believe in our ethnicity above other ethnic groups. We have come to be discriminatory inadvertently most times. That's why when you see somebody from an ethnic group that has been profiled from the wrong angle, you become uncomfortable. You become biased. So it's a program thing that is ingrained in us from childhood rather.
Okay.
And we have not been able to loosen ourselves from that tribal bias sold to us by our parents and our tribal people to say that tribe is bad. Until we come to the reality that we are all human beings first and foremost, we will not be able to overcome that programmed mental programming in our psyche. That my tribe, my tribe, my tribe. Secondly, it also dwells down to religious differences. Because if you look at it, religion basically is something that has to do with your attachment to divinity. Those of us who are Christians, we will say the Almighty God. So what I'm trying to say here is, you will not see superiority as a clog in religious tolerance. This person sees his religion as superior, that one sees his or her own as superior. So there's no room for tolerance again. There's no room for understanding. That's why we usually have religious differences. Now, before I move to other factors, what is peaceful coexistence? Because we have not been able to establish it properly.
Okay.
Peaceful coexistence is the absence of rancor, is the presence of understanding, is the presence of tolerance, is the presence of the ability for us to see eye to eye. And we need that peaceful coexistence to make meaningful development in our lives. But where these are lacking, you find out that we'll always be clashing, we'll always be fighting, we'll always be at loggerhead with one another, either from the community, family level, to the community level, to the local government level, to the state level, to the national level, and elsewhere. So, but we have to look at it from other angles. Where there are limited resources, they are bound to be intolerance. It's one of the things that is causing problem of social, or let me say, peaceful coexistence.
Okay.
The limitation of resources is another angle. And the government of the day, if you look at it, bad governance largely contributes to lack of peaceful coexistence. You will see the limited resources not being distributed equitably.
Okay.
And that one will now bring about biases, bitterness from one end to another. And it will further fuel religious and ethnic diversities, which ordinarily should be a blessing to us if we will believe in one another. So, the absence of rule of law is also an impediment to peaceful coexistence. A situation where the law or law and order is set aside just because you want to please an aggressor, we never bring in peaceful coexistence, because justice that is denied will continue to fuel rancor. So when you have a society where there is no rule of law, you see people not following laid down procedure for settling disputes, there's bound to not to be peaceful coexistence in that society. So I'm trying to illustrate the reasons why we don't have peaceful coexistence.
Yes.
And it is the presence of these things that will bring about peaceful coexistence.
All right, Alhaji Adekola Yunusa, you just heard his points when he talked about the religious sentiments. He made mention of a basic factor. He said superiority, the mindset that, oh, my religion is superior to the other person's own, is a problem, is one of the hindrances to peaceful coexistence in Nigeria. And he has talked about the government, the rule of law. What would be your addition, or what would be your contribution to these two key areas that he just mentioned?
Good. My addition is very simple. People must understand that there are bad people who are eating from problems in any society.
There are bad people who are eating from...
In fact, there are some other people who would deliberately cause a mayhem or violence so that they can do something terrible.
Okay.
For instance, if you have what we call an external aggression perpetrated by internal aggression, that may be a little bit higher, but if you follow me, you understand.
External aggression perpetrated by an internal aggressor. Okay.
For instance, you just discovered crude oil somewhere, and you want to have it all for yourself. All you need to do, bad ones, they will group themselves together, call themselves whatever name, invite external wahala to come. As they are causing the problem, you know, some people invited them, come and cause this problem. While the country or the society or a group is trying to solve that, you know, created problem, other people are busy extracting your oil and taking your minerals away. That is one thing. That is corruption. Corruption will forever continue to fuel violence, and there will be no peaceful coexistence.
So that's another angle to
That is another angle. Number two, the one you wanted me to react to is about the religion. You see, it's lack of understanding. People need reorientation. He just mentioned something that stuck to my mind about the opinion that people have planted in other people against other people. For instance, if you are a teacher or a parent, a mother, a father, you are just telling your children from that childhood, don't have anything to do with the Bible, don't have anything to do with Quran. If you see them, they are monsters. As they walk away, they have that. You are giving them a very, very bad orientation. I remember when I first came into the East and on Minaj system, we were consistently talking about misconceptions about Islamic religion, because it was so badly labeled that when you see a Muslim person, you nearly cut off his or her orientation. We need to deprogram our people. Yes, the mindset is so bad. Then why I say it's lack of understanding is, you must understand that your religion is a personal thing.
Exactly.
Don't load the goodness or the excellence of your religion on other people's opinions or religion. It's very wrong. Some people do this to a fault. It can never bring a peaceful coexistence. When you tell a person that Islam is bad, or I tell someone that Christianity is nothing to write home about, that is so bad. And a lot of preachers, a lot of other human beings, they do this without knowing the consequences, the far-reaching consequences. So we need reorientation. We need to reorient. We need to deprogram people's minds about all this. Your religion is personal to you. Like in Nigeria now, we are talking of two major religions. Traditional people are also coming. What of Hinduism? What of Shintoism? What of next bandism? There are so many. The ones you know is what you know. What of the ones you do not you do not know? So see your religion in America, for instance, we were so many times opportune to be there. They don't carry religion in their heads. What they want to see you do is, what can you bring to the existence of the people on how to solve certain problems? Whether you are from India, whether you are from China, most of the products being used in America today are from China. They produce for them. But you see them, talk about religion. They don't fight. So what is our problem in ensuring that my own religion is the best, your own is the best, and on the basis of that little insignificant thing, you are killing yourselves? I mean, what day shall we really come together and say, look, we need to sit down and think. Your religion is personal. Talk to your God in your own way. Don't even bring religion to the society. No. If anybody likes the way you are doing your religion, oh, my brother, I like what you are doing. No, can I join you? That is how it's supposed to be. Quran tells you, Lakundi, no yedin. Your religion is for you, mine is for me. So we must not emphasize so much on religion. It's killing this country.
Okay. It's okay. It's point killing. Very well noted. And we want to take it from, let's get his own perspective to this. Reverend Akpan, please.
Well, let me start from where he stopped. That religion is actually killing the country. Alaji, there is something I would like us to go back and tell our people.
Okay.
The issue of indoctrination is a major problem in this country.
Bad word.
Now, I discovered that there are many ways of learning. People are learning from us now, from the social media, from the television, from the church, from the mosque and all that. And one other aspect of learning is indoctrination, where people tell people things about others, whether for good or for bad. Now, when people are wrongly indoctrinated, that becomes a major problem, a major issue that causes a division in the midst of people. So, Alhaji, if we could take this message, I will take it to the church, you will take it to the mosque. Look, that we could coexist, we could live together, we could do things together, we could run businesses together, we could do conferences like that. I mean, so this is not the first time we're sitting together to discuss here. And we discuss about peaceful coexistence in the country. And I'm an apostle of one, that we can live together, we can work together and do things together. But majorly, those things should be done right.
Okay. So things must be done aright, not minding your religion, not minding the other person's religion. He actually made a very strong point, and I want us to look at that. He said the rule of law, absence of the rule of law, or lack of obedience of the rule of law. What would be your take on that?
Yes,
because it's becoming a very burning issue and it's been consistent with us. It's a very important point, especially when he mentioned something about limited resources. I want to disagree with that. I'm sorry. Which part of it? The limited resources? Okay, then.
No, our resources, for instance, in the world, are not limited.
Okay.
Because
but in the eyes of Nigerians, most Nigerians,
because God Himself is unlimited, and He has given us unlimited resources. The only thing we will talk about is how our leaders managing those resources. We have a lot of resources. So
that's the point.
Even at your back here, there are resources.
That's
there.
it.
How do you manage them?
Yeah, so there are enough resources, but they are limited to the everyday people.
Who limited them? Who is limiting them?
You mentioned bad governance.
Yes, he made mention of bad governance, right?
Yes, but the underlying thing is that the resources are abundant. I want us to have that in our mind. We have abundant resources. You have rain, you have rainfall, you have sunshine. There's nothing you put down under the ground in Nigeria that will not give you what you want. People are very lazy. Do you understand? People like to do corruption a lot. Do you understand?
And you call corruption laziness? At the point we are in Nigeria.
No.
Yes.
I said people are lazy.
Okay.
Because when you see, laziness can lead also to corruption because you are not ready to work. So the little thing you see from people, you want to grab and grab.
Okay. And the more they are grabbing, the more they are limiting the everyday people to their resources or the natural resources.
Yes,
but can we give another perspective?
Exactly. Okay.
So let's get limited resources might mean.
Okay.
Because these are in contests. In fact, everything we do, we say they are in contests. Now look at Okmana, for example, or even Asaba. Land is limited. People are now reselling land, creating problems in the society. If is not unlimited, then there will not be problem. So I'm not telling you why what I meant by
that's another
limited resources. We who are in government, we belong to different cooperative societies.
Okay.
You bought a land, you don't want to develop it, you said let it be there, which is normal. The person who sold it to you will now go and resell it because he doesn't have where to buy to get land to sell again.
Okay, so now we're bringing it down to the everyday people.
Yes,
we're talking
you
about
can see how
yes.
limited resources
Land is
at that
not
level.
limited. As
Yes.
far as I'm concerned,
Yes.
land is not limited.
Okay.
Keep expanding.
Okay.
You have not been
in this
from
environment
here
that we find
to
ourselves.
Benin.
In this environment we have found ourselves, you will not go and expand to a no place where you will be the center of the forest. We are talking about in this environment that we find ourselves. Resources are limited. One resources is land.
Anyway, that is your perspective.
I'm trying to contextualize what I meant by limited resources. Of course, we know bad governance.
Okay.
When you fail to allocate appropriately. People believe that it is only when they get to government that their ethnic group can get the best from governance. Will lead to misappropriation of resources. You will see the resources being channeled to one particular location just because the governor is from there. That alone cannot bring about peaceful coexistence. You will now see people struggling tooth and nail to become governors. And if we have right means of governance, not many people will be struggling to become governor, to become president, to become local government chairman. So, if you look at it, that inability to provide good governance is fairly, is making it impossible for us to have peaceful coexistence.
Okay, I saw you were enjoying the conversation.
Yeah,
okay, let's get your own conversation.
I was actually carried away by their ideas and, yes, I want to say this. So let's begin to see Nigeria as Nigeria.
Okay.
If you look at America now, you find out there are all kinds of leaders there.
Yes.
And then when they come on board, they are no longer talking about themselves. They're talking about America.
The people, yes.
They're talking about the well-being of the people,
Yes.
the well-being of the state. So if there must be peaceful coexistence in Nigeria, Nigerians must see Nigeria as Nigeria. So it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter your potential and your ability and how much you have already acquired. But let's see Nigeria as Nigeria. Let's be patriotic. I mean, let's work very hard to do things just like I pointed earlier on the right way. Then you see that peaceful coexistence will be a reality here.
Okay.
But whereby we don't see Nigeria as Nigeria, maybe we have religion as at the back of our mind as being uppermost than any other thing, that becomes a problem. Like he pointed out, in America there's nothing like religion. Keep it to yourself. They will tell you, keep religion, your religion to yourself. And that's the problem here. We have a lot of fanatics here who are creating problems for us in the society. So let's see Nigeria as Nigeria. Let's see Nigeria as belonging to us. Let's see everything that belongs to us. Let's be patriotic about it. Then there will be peaceful coexistence in the country.
Okay, whereas it's not like that in Nigeria, what happens? This is where we are now. What will be the way forward? Because this message of peaceful coexistence has been preached for so many decades to where we are today. Where is the change, or where are the changes going to come from?
Okay.
Because the everyday people are the ones who are most hate. They're the ones who complain the most. Whereas the ones in governance, the leaders, political actors, are the ones who are up there and enjoying everything. Where do we stop all of this, and where do the changes come from?
Please, let me take 1 minute out of
Yes.
that so that you can continue.
Okay.
Now, I believe a place like China and India have had this kind of problem that we're having now. I tell you, on the 19th of April, and that was in 1954, you find out that there was a type of agreement that was signed between these two countries in the Tibet region of China and India, and so that they can have peaceful coexistence, do business together, mutual understanding, mutual respect, where they can run their businesses together and things can begin to work. And so that you will not use your military might or your economic might, to overwhelm me and bring me down. So whatever I have to contribute, I contribute my own quota, you contribute your own quota, and we live peacefully. So I believe that the kind of light of the rule of law should be applied here.
Okay, so that's for between two
and that
countries.
no one should be above the law here. If somebody is above the law, that means the law is made for the lesser animal. And that's where the problem is coming from.
And it made mention of that. So what is the way out?
Okay. let me just
Yes.
make this intervention. After God, the next
government.
hierarchy of reliance is government.
Yes.
Until we begin to have leaders who deliberately put in leaders who
I like
are
that
competent,
word. Deliberate.
Deliberately.
Yes.
who are
underline it.
competent
Yes.
to live above
Self-interest.
socio-cultural, religious, and ethnic bias.
Sentiments.
We will continue to group in the dark. A lot of leaders that we have today, they are not primed for leadership. If you look at the local government, you look at the states, you look at the federal level, they are not primed for leadership. They just got there by accident.
They were not prepared.
That's what I meant.
When you say by accident,
So
when you say by accident, most of them or some of them, you and I actually voted for them. So when you say accident, are we actually agreeing?
No, I'm
Are we agreeing
coming.
to
I'm
that?
coming.
Yes.
When I say I want to look at it from the 1999 era,
Okay.
and that is still affecting us. Those people who got there by accident, they have refused to let go power. That is why the decent ones, the ones who have
Stop.
the interests
Yes.
of Nigeria at heart, have been put at bay.
Yes.
They have been discouraged from politics, or they have been killed, they have
Yes.
pursued one way or the other. So those who find themselves there by accident since 1999, they are still around.
Okay.
Although there are few persons who are still decent, but what can the few do in the presence of majority of people who are tribe of themselves, leadership tribe?
Of course.
Because once you enter that leadership tribe, you want to see things from that perspective. If you are at the federal level, you want to see nothing wrong with the federal government. You want to maintain status quo because you are enjoying it. Those are federal tribal men and women. You understand? At the state level, it's the same thing. But we need good governance. It's key. With good governance, we can have good religious leaders. We can have good citizens.
Okay.
Citizens, because leadership. Example begins from top.
Okay.
It's the example you give when you are on top that people want to follow.
Okay.
Example do not start from the bottom. So if we have leaders who give good example, I can tell you that our people will queue in.
Okay.
And before you know it, Nigeria will graduate from where it is today to a higher pedestal that we envy
all
in
expect.
Americans, we envy in the British, we envy in other highly developed societies. We will get there. We have said it before, that Nigeria has a constitution that says once you have lived in a place for 10 years, you become part and parcel of that community. But we still see a lot of disorderliness in the society. It makes people who genuinely want to develop a particular location to be discouraged, because they will now be forced to go back to where they come from. And before you know it, development is eluding the entire society.
Thank you very much. You made some very salient points, and these points are not new to Nigerians.
Yeah.
They have been there. We're still living with them. What would be the way out as we wrap up this afternoon?
Yes, the way out is very simple.
Okay.
For anybody to be voted for in Nigeria, ensure that no matter the qualifications of that person, he or she has a qualification or a certificate on what we call leadership education. Is there in America? You go for it, whether it's 9-month program or 1-year program, leaders, where they will teach you certain things. That is one. Number two, look at peace as a goal that every footballer in a particular set, in a team, must pursue.
Okay.
For you to score a goal, look at what happened in football. For them to score a goal, the 11 players, they must team up. They must be at peace with one another to see that they are not going to be talking at what religion. Are you a Muslim?
No.
Or are you a Christian?
No.
Are you a journalist? Before I pass the ball to you. Do you understand? If we can do that, if we can do like the footballers, pursue Nigeria as a goal, pursue peace as a goal, cooperate with one another, stop discrimination, we will get there. Final point is this. We must ensure, government must ensure that there is a deliberate underline, deliberate.
Deliberate.
There must be a deliberate attempt to
Okay.
bringing about peace by reorienting people's minds,
Okay.
calling through conferences, seminars, and workshops.
All right.
To help
Thank
us.
you very much. Let's take your very final point.
Oh yes, I want to continue from where they have stopped. I think violence should be jettisoned.
Okay.
We should do everything possible to jettison violence. You know, violence can come by our conversations, our talkativeness.
Yes.
I mean, saying things that will bring provocation in the society. Of course, you know, where people feel superior to one another, that will lead to war and nepotism. And so we should do everything possible to jettison violence in the society and understand that first and foremost, we were created equal by God. And then let's not see ourselves as being too better than every other person.
Okay.
We are created by the same God. Created by the same God.
Thank you very much. It's been a beautiful discussion right here. If you allow us, we can go on and on to discuss other issues as it concerns the peaceful coexistence of Nigerians in Nigeria. Well, they've made very salient points, but the ones we'll be going home with today will be the deliberate attempt by government to reorient the mindsets of Nigerians on how to cooperate or to coexist peacefully in Nigeria. And then, of course, there are issues of governance. Nigerian leaders must lead by example. Like Comrade rightly put it, it's leadership from the top and not from the bottom. But however it is, we must make this conscious efforts to make sure that we live peacefully, we coexist peacefully in Nigeria. Put away tribal sentiments, religious sentiments, and just focus on the Nigerian goal for a better Nigeria that we all desire. I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon. Reverend Sam Akman Isam, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Alhaji Dr. Adekola Yunusa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so
And then,
much.
of course, Comrade Churchill Oyowe, we
Oh,
appreciate
thank
you joining us on the program, The Faculty, this afternoon. We look forward to another edition tomorrow. Before we see you, we urge that you enjoy your Monday. Do have a beautiful day. Good afternoon.